Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for round 6 for the Monaco Grand Prix. If you guys did miss episode 5 for the Spanish Grand Prix where there was 9 upgrades, then do check out the episode, guys, by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of the screen. But today we arrive here at Monaco with 3 more upgrades onto the car. But first of all, guys, I need a little bit of an explanation / apology for this video. Now, in this video, you're going to see the FPS counter in the top right hand corner of the screen all the way through. I do apologise for that because I just hate how it looks. It looks very unprofessional. Also, for some reason, I had a glitch, so there was no pre-race coverage, you know, like when you get the TV cameras and you get to see the drivers and all that in qualifying, and it also didn't happen in the race, so I've got none of that kind of 3D TV broadcast style stuff in the video. And just generally speaking, it was a bit of a scruffy episode in terms of my wheel felt different because of the force feedback. And based off of the fact that I had the FPS counter on screen, it tells me that this game wasn't as high up on the priority list in terms of the tasks on the PC as it should have been. And I think my PC was a bit confused, and that's why the game wasn't running great as a whole. I had quite a few screen freezes as well, and generally it was quite messy. You know, I had a lot of off-sync audio. I've tried to fix as best as I can, but there is some audio parts which may be off-sync in the video, guys. But nonetheless, focusing on the video, as you just saw in the graph in itself, we are now comfortably the second best team. However, Sauber have responded to our recent push on the upgrade front by bringing some big upgrades of their own. But still, let's look at the positives here. We are now looking pretty good. We were second in the R&D chart. However, back to the negatives, you can see on screen we've got a fault with one of the parts of the car, and we're going to miss out pretty much on 5 whole minutes of the qualifying session. So it kind of changed the way I'm going to approach the session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for 3 runs in the session, but my first one is going to have 2 hot laps on the same tyre. So currently you can see I'm on my first one here, and to be fair, it was a good little banker, but my second lap was better still. And I can say for the first 2 runs, my steering wheel felt horrible. I had pretty much no force feedback for some reason, and I had to basically mess around with the settings of the force feedback to basically find how my wheel worked before. For some reason, it's almost like the game didn't detect my steering wheel was working. So these first 2 runs, I had very little force feedback, yet somehow my pace was very strong. My second lap was great. We found 7/10 and we went fastest and P1 in the qualifying session ahead of Charles Leclerc and Marcus Ericsson. Then on my second one now, and technically 3rd time lap on a brand new set of hypers, we was going pretty well, but then down into the Nouvelle chicane, we got it all wrong on the braking there. You can see there I got a really poor line, and yeah, a big mistake, and the lap was ruined. So now it all comes down to the final run in the session here, and we're going to see how this goes. Straight away onto the pit straight here. Let's see if we can try and improve as we go to turn 1, down to 4th gear, attacking the curbs, and then picking up the traction on the exit as we now go up the hill, up towards turn number 4 for Massenet, and then Casino Square. A little bit scruffy there, tapping the wall on the right hand side, but we managed to get the car rotated beautifully and carry the speed through still, so good exit there. Now downhill into Mirabeau, down the 2nd gear, momentarily using first to really find the gearing as we now go down towards the Lowe's hairpin, the slowest corner in Formula 1, 39 kilometers an hour, as we now go through the next kind of downhill right with the curb on the inside. Use that as a bit of a way to rotate the car, and then through Portier where Senna famously crashed, and now flat out through the tunnel looking for the 100-meter board here. Brake just after it, down to 3rd gear, and then maybe 2nd to rotate the car through the Nouvelle chicane. We get that absolutely perfect on braking and traction, and now tearing the speed through to back, the best corner on the racetrack, and now through the swimming pool section here. Part 1 very good, part 2 very good as well. We tapped the wall a little bit there, but luckily no damage done. And now the final 2 corners, Raskas 2nd gear, patient on the throttle, and now Anthony knows the final corner. It's all about traction here, and we get an absolutely perfect lap. We crossed the finish line with 1 second to spare, and that's going to give us P1 in the qualifying session there, because we managed to just cross the line, so we can do our in-lap manually and let everybody set their lap times without having any timing glitches. And as you can see, we get pole, and it wasn't even close. We absolutely dominated qualifying here today by half a second over Leclerc, and even Leclerc wasn't that much clear of Alonso, Ericsson, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel. They were all pretty close to him, so good to see that we had a stranglehold in this qualifying. We absolutely dominated. Every run was faster and faster, and I really enjoyed that session. The car was working great, and it was just really, really good to have a car underneath me that just felt phenomenal and you could really push with. Nonetheless, though, it's pole position, our first one for the prizing horse here in Ferrari, and it has come at the Monaco Grand Prix. But now it's time to go into Sunday for the race, and let's see if we can try and convert the pole position into a potential first win dressed in red. Let's find out. It's time for the race.
It's always good to qualify at the front, isn't it? Will your team have your reliability problems fixed by qualifying? Great. Well, that's everything.
Right, here we are then. It's time for the Monaco Grand Prix. We start the race from pole position, our first one in the Ferrari car and our first one of the season. Charles Leclerc is alongside me in second place. It's a short run to turn one, but it's enough of a run that if Leclerc gets a good start, he could challenge me into the first corner. So we need to be very strong at the start and be very aggressive in terms of defending. In terms of the race strategy today, there's two options. We either go for the Hypersoft onto the Supersoft compound tyres, which is what I've selected, and I've actually modified it. The original strategy was a Hypersoft onto a Ultrasoft and then another Ultrasoft. So basically either a two-stop or maybe a one-stop. I'm leaning towards the one-stop because I want to have track position and go through the pits as least times as possible. It's important to go through a lot of laps in this first stint. The longer we go on this first stint, the better, to try and avoid potential overcuts, pitting early, coming out in traffic. The undercut isn't really that good around here because of the traffic situation. So you want to try and stay out long and let everybody behind do their pit stops first, preferably. Now, in terms of fuel, I've taken all the fuel out. We're actually half a lap under in terms of the fuel because Monaco doesn't really use that much fuel around here. And also, I want to be light because I want to be aggressive in the first part of the race. And also, having a lighter car means less tyre wear. So hopefully that will pan out as I expect it to. And pretty much no rain expected as well. So we've got a full dry race ahead of us. And the task is simple, baby. It's time to win Monaco and win our first race. The pressure's on. 39 laps in front of us here, separating us from our first win in red. So with that being said, let's jump into it here. It's time for round 6 for the Monaco Grand Prix. Let's get into it. Right, here we go. Let's build up the revs and get ready for the 5 red lights here at the Principality. The lights are on and they are off. And away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix. Good start. Leclerc does not challenge me to turn 1, which is good. So we get a good start into the short one down towards the first corner, up the hill now for the first time. Leclerc all over my gearbox here. A little bit of contact actually. He hits the back of me somehow. I'm not sure what he's trying to do there, but Leclerc hits the back of my car. And he's looking to maybe look for a place or a move through here. No way past though. It's Monaco. You all know how that works, but Leclerc holds on to P2. I'm kind of hoping Sebastian can have a good race here. Maybe strategy can bring him into the race a bit because I want to see us score a strong result here as a team. As I pick up the track extension there, taking too much curb on the inside, but still so far so good. Opening up of the Grand Prix going well. In hot lap mode here, trying to burn up the ERS early on. ERS does last quite a while around here. Leclerc already gaining a lot on me through the back straight, but we get through the Nouvelle chicane unscathed and now into the back. And so far, lap 1 has been a success here at Monaco as we still lead at the front, setting the pace. And I can already tell I've got good race pace here. I feel comfortable. I'm not pushing too hard just yet. Keeping a lot in reserve, but we do have a lot more pace than Leclerc. You can see the gap already on the pit straight here after lap 1 comes to a close. Gap 1.1 already, so we've almost cleared him out of the DRS. Right, let's get a head down here. A long race ahead of us. It's only Monaco, but the amount of laps we have to do is a lot of laps. And a lot of chances, for things to happen, so I should make mistakes. So let's try and keep our nose out of trouble and see if the race goes smoothly. There we go, 110.0, already setting the pace. As DRS is now enabled, gap to Leclerc 1.7 seconds. So we're more than clear of DRS. Strong pace already here, opening up the Grand Prix. We're not messing around. I want to win this race and secure the points. We're leading the championship, so it's a good chance to actually extend our championship lead, which is something I never thought I'd be saying after 6 races. So let's make full advantage of it and try and make it count. You can see the fuel already saving up here, and it's just coming back on target naturally without me even running lean mix. I should have gone even lighter, to be honest. This Ferrari is very efficient on fuel as we set another personal best, which is a purple lap into the 1 minute 09. So car is really working well here. ERS super efficient as well. We're not really using that much ERS to say we've been in hot laps since the start of the race, / even a little bit of overtake. But let's try and now, we've got the gap, so it's all about now managing the tyres a little bit because we want to try and go a little bit longer on this first stint, so I don't want to over push. I don't think it's the case, but when Leclerc tapped the back of me up the hill, I do wonder if he maybe gave himself front wing damage. I doubt it because looking at the train behind him, he's seemingly got a little bit of pace on Alonso, and also there's not a massive train behind him, but his pace isn't that strong, so I do wonder if it's happened, but it probably hasn't. And it's more just me having strong pace to pull away. I've also turned the engine down to medium ERS now, and everything's in standard engine mode because this is the 6th race with this engine. We need to do one more race after this with this engine, so we need to try and keep things under control and keep the wear down if possible. This is a good opportunity, a good race to keep the wear down to a minimum. Tyre wear's looking good on these. We're looking good for the one stop. I was scheduled to come in next lap, but I reckon I can go a little bit longer on these. The longer I go on these, the easier it is on the super soft. So, like I said, I want to try and go nice and long in this first stint. Let everyone behind pit, so things are looking good. Tyre temperatures below 100 on all 4 tyres, so far so good, no complaints. Car's working beautifully well. Probably the best the car's felt all season, to be honest. The upgrade's really starting to pay off now, and we've got a real good package underneath us. This is interesting so far because the Clone Ericsson still haven't pit. Neither have Sebastian, neither have the Red Bull. So I'm also kind of forced to stay out here because I don't want to have to overtake the traffic later on. I need to try and get a clean run, but my tyres are starting to go a little bit. But I can still stay out for a few more. I'm just kind of hoping that the cars behind pit in because I kind of need that to happen now, to be honest. I'm going to probably come in next lap. Right, there we go.
Sebastian's in for his stop.
Leclerc's pit in as Sebastian Vettel, so Ericsson should come in this lap. We've got a nice healthy gap, so we're going to pit in this lap for the super softs, which is what I'm expecting those guys behind me to do as well. Coming for the supers and make the one-stop strategy work. We shouldn't come out in much traffic, so we should be good. Oof, okay, we just tapped that wall there. Kind of a telltale sign that my rears are starting to go. So we're going to pit in here. Make sure we get it all slowed down. There we go. It's a very short pit entry, so you've got to be careful to not speed. But here we go. Also the pit jack. We shouldn't get held up here either. Very nice stop. 2.4. No hold-ups. Absolutely perfect. And it looks like we're going to be pretty comfortable here. Let's see how many cars start on the super softs or the ultras and go long. There's Grosjean in the Haas. So it looks like 3 cars are going to go past on different rubber. Here comes Bottas, but I think I should be able to come out in front of him if we have a good exit. There we go, over the white line, the yellow line in this case, but we didn't get a warning, so that's fine. So we've only got 3 cars in front. That's perfect. There's 2 more behind me which didn't get in front, so it's a little bit less traffic to pass. So all in all, the strategy's worked out beautifully. And like I said, going nice and long to give yourself the best chance on strategy and having the least amount of traffic. And to be fair, if I'd stayed out for maybe a couple more laps, I might have been able to actually stay in front of the guys in front due to just raw pace. But either way, I can't complain. It's worked out okay. Now let's try and get up to speed and make a few overtakes in this race and have a little bit of action. Right, here we are then behind Perez. Let's see how long it takes us to make some moves here at the final corner. DRS open. Perez does have DRS on Magnussen. That force they're looking pretty good for straight line speed. We're going to go down the inside though at turn 1. Force our way through. There we go. A little bit of contact necessary, but Perez completely turned in on me there, so I had to make my presence felt, literally. Up next, Kevin Magnussen. Let's get past him.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Oof, that was very close. We almost hit the back of Magnussen there. Out the final corner, DRS open. This should be a pretty simple move. Magnussen doesn't have DRS. We're gaining on the Haas. Down the inside. This one was much nicer. There we go. Magnussen actually left me the room, so there we go, job done. P2. Up next, Roman Grosjean in the other Haas. Surprisingly, it's actually Grosjean leading Magnussen for a change. Right then, here we go. We're now behind Grosjean. Through the final corner, DRS open. We don't get the cleanest run, has to be said. Not as clean as the last time. Turn 1, we're going to try and set him up though. Get the rotation down, up the hill. No DRS, so we're going to lose out a little bit here. Looks like Magnussen's come in, so Grosjean should be in this lap. So I might just sit behind, to be honest, unless I can get him somewhere quite easily. Hopefully Grosjean does come in, because I could have passed him by now. So let's just be patient here. I'm not going to overcommit to anything. We just tapped that wall there. Got to be careful with that wall. But Grosjean should pit in here. There we go. And he's going to give me DRS. That's going to make up for it. I've also burnt off all my excess fuel. I managed to get up to 0.70 positive. But I'm going to now... I've been burning it off because I want the car to stay light. And I'm going to keep on burning it off. And I'll save up more later on. Look at the minimap there on the right hand side is where all my contenders are. They got caught up in traffic. That's because they didn't have the gap that I had at the front. And that's been the complete difference maker in this Grand Prix. And we pretty much are half a track ahead of everyone that was behind me in the first stint. So the strategy has worked out beautifully. It's been a great race so far. Everything has just been absolutely perfect. Also, funny enough, I've just realised Grosjean's pit in and he's actually pit out and rejoined in front of Marcus Ericsson. So that's how much time the other rest of the contenders in the lead pack have lost. They've actually rejumped behind Grosjean, who was nowhere to be seen before the first stint. So it's really not worked out well for those guys. And look how far ahead we are now, 20 seconds clear. And the gap is just extending sector by sector. So a bit of an update. It's been a little while, but pace is good. We're consistently pulling away from Grosjean. Not by much, but we do have pace. I think Ericsson has front wing damage because he's dropping back big time from Grosjean, and the gap is now over 30 seconds, and also he's on the Ultra, so he's going to have to stop again. So right now Grosjean's looking great for that second place. Also, we're just starting to pick up now a few lap cars on the map, and we're starting to catch up to those guys. Also, Leclerc, Vettel and Co are really struggling for pace. They're kind of caught up in the traffic, and they've really lost a lot of time. And dare I say, if they're on the Ultra Softs, they're going to have to pit in again, so it's looking bad for them. There's also a massive train of cars going up the hill now, slash the pit straight. You see it now. There's 4 cars there, and there's a few more behind as we get that chicane all wrong there. There's a lot of cars you can see down the minimap, just a massive train, and I think Leclerc's involved. Either way, we're looking very good here, very comfortable, and the car's working well. I'm not even pushing at the minute at all, just cruising, to be honest. A couple of purple laps going in there, Van Dorn and Hulkenberg, and now Alonso, so those guys must have pit in for fresh rubber, because they're literally just up the road. But I'm not really racing those guys at the minute, just cruising along. I think it's raining. Is it raining? I could have sworn I've seen there's a few droplets coming down. Yeah, it's starting to rain. What the hell? Where's that come from? Yeah, it's just starting to rain a little bit. Very, very light. Barely visible, but the rain is coming down here very lightly. This is not what I had in my plans, but it obviously won't get wet because it wasn't the weather forecast. It's just a bit of random rain coming down. But yeah, it's definitely raining. A few droplets I can see now. Either way, it's not going to affect track levels or track grip too much. I'm once again burning up my excess fuel, keep my car nice and light, and also running high engine mode on the ERS to try and set a few stronger laps in a couple of PBs just to re-establish my gap at the front. But we're now catching up to that massive train of lap traffic now, which includes pretty much the entire grid with the exception of a few cars, as you'll see on the mini map now, going on the pit straight. So yeah, we're going to kind of hit that in a minute's time also. So we're going to have to get ready. That was a bit of understeer there, not because of the rain, but a lot more understeer than I'm used to. Just going to have to be careful with the wet weather here. I'm going to go down to normal engine modes once again and go back to a bit more of a chilled out, mode here and try and bring the car home.
We're seeing at least 20 minutes of light rain. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Okay, so 20 minutes of light rain. So that means it's going to stay. Would we have to go into the inters maybe? There's still a few laps left in this race, so it might be a possibility. Especially now we're catching up to this train, you can see how big it is, and we're going to really struggle to get through traffic, so we need to try and be careful. Okay, then we've arrived at the back of the train, which is being led by Marcus Ericsson. So you've pretty much got the entire grid with the exception of one car in a gigantic train. So let's try and make progress. Obviously Ericsson has front wing damage, that's the only explanation for it. I'm running high engine modes once again to try and burn off excess fuel before the rain does get any thicker, because I want to try and have the lightest possible car. It always helps with tyre wear and performance in these kind of mixed conditions. But now we're going to have to start making our way through this traffic, which is going to make things very interesting. Right, here we go then. This is going to be awkward. Blue flag / yellow flag. Something's going on either way. Let's try and make these moves now one by one. Hopefully the AI get out of the way for me quite nicely. I don't want them to get out of the way in a bad way. Alonso there should have got to one side, but he's going to keep on inside the train, which is kind of annoying. Be very careful here, because this is how I lose the front wing. I'll have a crash or something. Dare I say, I'm tempted to just sit back here and basically follow the train for the rest of the race, but I'm a little bit concerned I might be a little bit too slow and Grosjean might catch up. Sure, I'm 21 seconds ahead, but there's an easy 2-3 seconds a lap here, and I don't want to give Grosjean that kind of chance, so I need to try and make these moves if I can. Alonso, mate, just slow down, please. Honestly, it's not that hard. Just move to one side, please. He's moved out of the way. That's the AI moving out of the way, but we're going to have to commit to it or not. There we go. Finally, Alonso moves. That took so long, my former teammate, giving me no favours there. Now we've got to get past Hulkenberg. This is going to be awkward. Into the lowest hairpin. I could dive it there, but there's no need to be so reckless. We've got everything to lose, so it's just better off being safe and let the AI kind of naturally move out of the way for you. There we go, Hulkenberg gets to one side. That's what I wanted last time from Alonso. Right, now Van Dorn and both of the Williams cars need to move out of the way. We're going to go around the outside of Stoffel here. Make that a pretty simple move. And now Stroll, please get out of the way. Make it a little bit easier than Fernando Alonso, please. No, he's not going to do that, is he? Not at all. We're going to have to force him again. Please move to one side, Stroll. Move to one side, please. This is so awkward. You can see he's realised it's blue flags and he's trying to do something, but he's doing everything except for just moving out the way. Oh my god, man. This game, blue flags, is just horrific. I'm going to dive it this time. Because Stroll's giving me just a pain, just giving me a major headache, basically. Sorokin, there we go. Thank you very much. That's much easier. Now Hamilton, thank you very much. That was much easier. Down the inside of Hartley now. Gasly there, trying to get out of the way, I think. I say trying because it's not very convincing. I'm going to go down the inside here. I'm going to have to barge my way through. Almost hit the wall there, but Gasly is doing me no favours. Right, last lap, and look at that. Charles Leclerc's there. We're going to take that, thank you very much. That's a corner cut, but I don't mind. I want to have the privilege of saying I'll land my championship rival. So a double move down at the Lowe's hairpin, unnecessary and risky, but I don't really care. I wanted to have that lap over Leclerc. We've made our way pretty well through the train, halfway through pretty much. But now just going to bring it home. I can't see myself passing many more cars, to be honest. The track's getting a little bit slippery now. The rain's definitely starting to have an effect on the racetrack. So here we go then. Now at the end of sector 2, now to the final sector. Let's bring this home, and it's looking good for a first ever race win in a Ferrari dressed in red. Here we go into the final corner. Ocon's not going to let me through, that's fine. There we go then, up to the line. Oh boy, here we go. We're going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Grazie ragazzi. Forza Ferrari. Grande gara. Fantastica giornata. Grande lavoro.
And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
Was there really any competition for you today? You must be thrilled to be up on the podium. Do you think your rival learned from his battle with you? What do you think made the difference between this weekend and last weekend? Appreciate your time.
Right, so there we have it then. We win the Monaco Grand Prix ahead of Romain Grosjean there by 15 seconds and then over a minute clear of Kevin Magnussen. A lot of the cars in the end managed to actually get past Ericsson towards the end, including my teammate Sebastian Vettel, who brings home a P5 finish. Sergio Perez P4 for the Racing Point of Force India, a very strong result for him. Both Haas cars also on the podium, which is going to be good for them in terms of both championships and the constructors. Then Ricciardo P6, Bottas scoring points for Mercedes there, Ericsson and Leclerc also scoring points. Leclerc only scoring 1 there for Sauber. And in terms of what the race means for the Drivers' Championship, we are 22 points clear of Marcus Ericsson and 25 points clear of Charles Leclerc going into Canada. So really good result, really unexpected result to be honest in terms of where the Saubers finished, and this race has been great, and we start off the European season absolutely beautifully, and Sebastian Vettel there P11 as well, on the cusp of the top 10 in the other Ferrari. But in terms of the constructor standings, we jump up to second place, overtaking Haas and Red Bull Racing. But Haas keeping us close company there, only 7 points behind, and also we gain a big chunk of points on Sauber, and we are now only 30 points behind the other team, so not too bad, and all in all a decent race of work. Now unfortunately we're not going to have enough points for an upgrade, so we're going to go into Canada with the exact same car, but I think we should be able to compete around there at least for 3rd and 4th place, so hopefully fingers crossed that race goes well. But if you guys did enjoy this episode of Crewman, then please do drop a like on the video. Apologies if it was a little bit short, but it's just the way Monaco is and the nature of the circuit. And if you are new around here, please do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content and also some MotoGP videos sprinkled in between, and turn notifications to not miss a single video from me, and finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next episode very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.